broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome in to a Monday evening live edition of The Rome Show here, broadcasting live on the Romanellas on YouTube, The Rome Show 1 on Twitter, X, and Instagram. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. I'm excited to be with the people. This is our fourth straight week of broadcasting on Monday night, getting you going around 6:30 p.m. as we work to get you ready for 2 times of Monday Night Football plus Major League Baseball. Right now, we got a tie 3-3 in the 5th between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners in game number 2 of the ALCS. So much to get into. Weekend's worst, weekend's best, Major League Baseball, Monday evening quarterback, and as we do every Monday before we sign off, we give you our banana picks for our Monday Night Football contest. So we'll get that going throughout the show. You can comment live on youtube.com/the Romanellas. That's youtube.com/the Romanellas. Hit subscribe on that page. Twitter, X, and Instagram, The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show. Then the number 1. Facebook.com/The Rome Show. The Rome Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast. We should start it off with our weekend's worst and our weekend's best. We have 2 in both categories. We will get you started with number 1. Your first weekend's worst goes to Brian Callahan, the head football coach of the Tennessee Titans. Coach Callahan was fired after the Titans lost their 5th out of 6 games this weekend. Besides a crazy 21-3 comeback against the Arizona Cardinals in week 4, the Tennessee Titans have been the worst football team in the National Football League outside the Jets. They should probably be 0-6, much like the Jets. And during a 1.5-year tenure, Brian Callahan had a record for the Titans, that's how quickly I feel like it's the Jets, of 4-19. By the way, this is a string of 4 straight number 1 overall quarterbacks. Check out the stat on your screen. That's head coach has been fired in their rookie season, dating back to Trevor Lawrence in 2021. You've had 4 of the last 5 seasons. The number 1 overall picks head coach has been fired in his first season. Bryce Young in Carolina, Caleb Williams last season in Chicago, and now this season, Cam Ward. We'll see if Brian Daboll and the New York Football Giants, Kevin Stefanski, other guy on the hot seat, and Dylan Gabriel can buck that trend. But just because you're drafting the quarterback first overall really means nothing in the National Football League. I'd actually argue, especially as we get geared up tonight for the Commanders versus the Bears, okay, the top 2 picks overall from the 2024 draft, that it just goes to show you we love Jaden Daniels. That's a really awesome story. But think about all these other top picks as a quarterback that do not pan out. And we talk about this all the time on the Rome Show. Oftentimes, the success of a quarterback, the success of most players, but when it comes to the quarterback, the success of the quarterback comes down to the coaching staff, the organization, the culture, that they get drafted into. And it is pretty obvious that when your franchise is bad, does not matter how good the talent is on the player, i.e. Cam Ward, Titans #1 overall pick in 2025 out of Miami. A lot of excitement around Cam Ward. Doesn't matter. He looks bad. Team looks bad. Titans are bad. Coach fired. Weekend worst. #1 goes to Brian Callahan. #2, I think you probably could have guessed this, goes to James Franklin in Penn State University, or no longer with Penn State University. James Franklin was fired after the Nittany Lions' third straight loss. Not only third straight loss, but third straight, really second straight, atrocious loss. The Nittany Lions became the first team since the FBS-FCS merger in 1978 to be favored by 20 or more points in 2 straight weeks and lose in both of those contests. UCLA 2 weeks ago, Northwestern over the weekend. That came off the heels of a double overtime loss against Oregon. The Nittany Lions were ranked #2 in the preseason poll, and they now have 6 games in, fired their head ball coach. It's not all bad, though, for James Franklin. I think the problem, though, is that his record against really good teams was his downfall. During his time as Penn State's head coach, he won 100 games. He had a record of 145. 105-45 during his nearly 12-year tenure. However, against top 10 teams, James Franklin's overall record was 4-21. Against teams in the Big Ten that were ranked top 10 in the nation, James Franklin was 1-18 all time as the head ball coach at Penn State University. Unfortunately, that's not going to cut it, especially in today's day and age of college football. That's not going to cut it at the big-time programs. If that was going on with Kirby Smart, he already would have been let go. If that was going on at Alabama, we thought it might. DeBoer was getting close. He's backpedaled that now 3-4 weeks later, but it turns on a dime. And the sad part is James Franklin's going to be less remembered for truly what he did at Penn State and more remembered for the 25 games he could not win against the best teams in the country. Penn State was in a dark place when James Franklin came over in 2013 from Vanderbilt University. They were coming off the Joe Paterno sanction era, and it was gross. And James Franklin did everything James Franklin could, and by the way, did it the right way, and brought Penn State all the way back to a premier college football program year in and year out. 6 seasons of 11 wins for James Franklin. That's very impressive. But he just could not win the big game. James Franklin, unfortunately, might be the guy before the guy at Penn State University. I've been calling him Buck Showalter for the last 24 hours since he was let go of his duties. Buck Showalter with the New York Yankees helped build up that culture. Couldn't get them over the hump. Joe Torre comes in, bang, gets them over the hump. New York Metropolitans, Buck Showalter helps build them back, fired, bang, get to the NLCS. The guy before the guy is often remembered for the exit, and that not the time leading up to that, because the time leading up to it is exactly what Penn State needed. Recency bias is going to tell you that he's not a good head football coach. And maybe in big games, he isn't. But over a 12-year span, he did everything he needed to do for Penn State. So though we're calling this a weekend's worst because the man lost his job, that is a worst of a weekend, he's doing okay. because his buyout was the second largest in NCAA history at $49 million. Second largest to Jimbo Fisher of Texas A&M University. Micah Parsons had this to say about James Franklin. Regardless of the situation at hand, this one doesn't feel right to me. Coach deserved better. Myself and countless others wouldn't be where we are today without Coach. Thank you. Hashtag we are forever. Nice words there from one of the best players in the National Football League. Before we give you our weekend's best, we remind you you're listening to The Rome Show here on youtube.com/The Romanellas. Twitter X. Oh, no, that's not it. Here it is. Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show 1, and Facebook.com/The Rome Show. Be sure to follow wherever you can. Subscribe, whatever word you want to use. Share with a pal, whatever it is. All right, let's see. I know we added a fun little sounder here last week, and we're going to try and find it. Yeah, that's right. All right, our weekend's best here, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what we got for the people. First and foremost, the Seattle Mariners. That's right, the Seattle Mariners. Not only did the Seattle Mariners win a decisive Game 5, but then they came out on Sunday night, okay, just 48 hours later in Canada and defeated the Toronto Blue Jays to take a 1-0 series lead in the ALCS. Game 2 is going on right now, and the Mariners have a 6-3 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning. So my first best of the weekend goes to the Seattle Mariners. First ALCS appearance since 2001. Okay? First one. And their best players are being their best players. The story is a lot of fun, and they are an enjoyable baseball team. So the Seattle Mariners, yeah, you are. Oh, you're simply the best, baby. First weekend's best goes to the Seattle Mariners. Your second weekend best stays in Major League Baseball. Oh, yeah. And that's going to go to the Milwaukee Brewers, who not only won game number 5 against the Chicago Cubbies, but we talked about this a little bit last week. Why are they a best of the weekend? Because Craig Counsell, the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers for 6 seasons, a player in the Milwaukee Brewers organization, spent nearly 15 seasons wearing a Brewers uniform, leaves 3 years ago to go to Chicago for more money and most likely more belief of a chance to win a championship. Well, with the 22nd largest payroll in Major League Baseball at only $122 million, okay? $228 million less than the roster of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And not only do they win Game 5, but they beat their big brother in the Chicago Cubs, and they stick it to their former manager who left them not necessarily for the belief of winning comparative, because both franchises have been similar over the last 5 to 10 years. He left for the money. He left for the Chicago. He left for the Wrigley. And the Milwaukee Brewers, one time referred to themselves as Milwaukee Community College. We spoke about that in the middle of the summer. Defeat the Cubbies and move on to the NLCS, which kicks off tonight. I believe that game's at 8:08 p.m. And you got Blake Snell on the mound for the defending champion Dodgers and Aaron Ashby on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers, who were the weekend's. Oh, yeah. Congratulations to the Mariners and to the Brewers. I don't know what winning the weekend's best on the Rome Show means to you. I know it means to me a lot of greatness. We're going to take a quick commercial break, real quick. When we come back in 1 simple minute, we will be doing Monday evening quarterback, taking you through all the games that hit on Sunday, and then we give you our predictions and previews for Monday Night Football, Commanders versus Bears and Bills versus Falcons. Thank you for listening to The Rome Show here, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas and Twitter X/Instagram, The Rome Show 1. Back after this. Yeah, The Rome Show, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter X, Instagram, The Rome Show 1, The Rome Show on Facebook. By the way, you know you can comment live on this thing if you head to YouTube. Comments come right up here in the studio. Comment live on Facebook, comment live on Twitter X, all the social media sites. We got you. We'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on our thoughts and opinions. It is that time. It is Monday evening quarterback. Let's break it down for the people. All right. A lot going on in the National Football League. Two coaches, star linebacker for the 49ers, Fred Warner, out for the season. Joe Flacco played for the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets are still terrible. And by the way, they were bad both in America and in London. Not good. We'll give you the rundown right here. Let's get it going. The Chargers, they defeated the Dolphins 29-27. Ladd McConkey with a huge reception late in this game. The Dolphins did everything they could to come back. However, not good enough, so they fall to 1-5. And the Chargers, who were on a 2-game losing streak, they improved to 4-2. A hard-fought victory there on the road for the Chargers. We just mentioned the Jetropolitans. They're 0-6. Probably the worst performance you've ever seen at quarterback. Justin Fields finished with 9 for 17 throwing the ball for 45 yards. And a passer rating of 58.7. The net team passing yards for this game, I'm sure you've seen this going around, was minus 10 yards. That is reckless, if you ask me. The Jets have a real problem. And it's now no longer just your quarterback's not good enough. Maybe your talent's not there. I don't know if your head coach is good enough. I don't know if Aaron Glenn is the right guy, because Robert Saleh we didn't think was the right guy, and I don't think the Jets in the last 3 years ever looked this bad. So if you're a Jets fan, the rest of the season is not just figuring out the quarterback or anything else. It's literally like, is this the head coach? And like, what are we doing here? Okay, because you're about to be 15 straight years not making the postseason, and you aren't even close. Not even close. The Jets lose again. Broncos, they're 4-2. That's a wonky 4-2. I don't know if I trust that yet. The Colts, they come back 14 in the fourth quarter to defeat the Cardinals 31-27. The Cardinals, they played Jacoby Brissett because Kyler Murray was hurt. He had a really good day, 27 of 44, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Indiana Jones, 212, 2 TDs, 1 INT. Jonathan Taylor did what Jonathan Taylor does, 123 on the ground and 1 TD. The Colts, 5-1, looking every bit of 5-1. The Cardinals looking every bit of a bad football team that cannot hold a lead. 2 straight weeks, the Cardinals blow a lead in the fourth quarter to lose. The Patriots, Mike Vrabel, they're 4-2. Funny how the Tennessee Titans 2 years ago fired Mike Vrabel because they didn't think he was the right coach to continue moving forward. Now, just 23 games later, the Titans fire the coach to replace Vrabel, and Vrabel's about to come into Tennessee this weekend and stick it to you. And he looks good as the head ball coach in New England. 25-19, they defeat the Saints at the Superdome, who dropped to 1-5. Drake May, 26 passing attempts, 261 yards, 3 TDs. The Steelers, they beat the Browns 23-9. They improved to 4-1. The Browns, they stink. It might be time to get rid of Kevin Stefanski. How about this? Dylan Gabriel, first pro start in this game, passed the ball 52 times. I am not a rocket scientist, nor am I an NFL football coach, but I got to imagine that was not the play here for this quarterback. That only resulted in 9 points for the Browns. Dylan Gabriel completed only 4 passes beyond 10 yards. I don't know if that's it. The Browns got a lot of issues. Carolina, they win. Rico Dowdle, again, 2 straight weeks of 220 or more total yards on the ground. The dude went off. He had 30 carries for 183 yards. He also added 4 receptions for 56 yards and a touchdown. Dak Prescott's playing off of the charts. However, the Cowboys defense is atrocious, and that's the reason why they sit at 2-3-1. Carolina now 3-3, and 6 quarters of football ago, they were losing to the Miami Dolphins 17-0 at 1-3, and it looked really bad. Now, just like that, thank you, Dolphins, they sit at 3-3, and it kind of feels like it's going in the right direction. We continued. Seahawks, they beat the Jags 20-12, maybe pumping the brakes on the Jags' excitement. Sam Darnold, 295, 2 TDs. Trevor Lawrence, actually a pretty good day, 258, 2 TDs, no turnovers. However, the Jags could not get the run game going, only 59 total yards on the ground. Both teams now 4-2. The Rams 17, the Ravens 3. We all know what's going on here. The Ravens are really bad. However, at least their defense played better. Step in the right direction. Reports are Lamar Jackson's supposed to come back next week. We'll see if that makes a difference. But you are 1, maybe 2 weeks away from this thing being absolutely over. If you're the Baltimore Ravens, they're now 1-5, Rams 4-2. The Raiders, they get off a 4-game losing streak, defeating the Titans 20-10. They're the nail in the coffin for Coach Callahan. Geno Smith, he tried everything to give this game up, but they didn't. He's not playing good quarterback right now. I don't know how long that experiment lasts in Las Vegas. But nonetheless, Ashton Janty, 75 more yards on the ground and 1 TD, so they're starting to get that run game going a little bit. They need to. The Packers, they beat the lowly Bengals 27-18. Packers are now 3-1-1. Jordan Love, 259 and 1 TD. Josh Jacobs, 93 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase finally had another normal day, 10 receptions, 94 yards, 1 TD. Probably nice to have like a normal guy kind of throwing you the football, but still the Bengals are cooked. Packers looking all right. The Bucs, statement victory at home against the Niners, 30-19. Baker Mayfield continues to shine for the Buccaneers, 256, 2 TDs, 104 yards on the ground total for the Bucs, and they didn't have Bucky Irving. Very impressive for them. Mac Jones, his worst day so far for the 49ers, 2 INTs, no touchdowns, and the Niners lose Fred Warner. So not a good day for San Fran. They dropped to 4-2. The Bucs 5-1. Finally, last night in prime time, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the very hot Detroit Lions, giving them their first loss since week 130-17. Patrick Mahomes was doing the damn thing. He had 22 for 30, 257, 3 TDs. That was awesome. He also added a rushing touchdown on the ground. Spread the rock. Did he? 8 different receivers had at least 1 reception. 7 different had 2 or more. Not a great day for the Lions. Their offense really couldn't get going, though there were not many turnovers. There was not much running the rock, only 98 yards on the ground. Chiefs 3-3. Lions 4-2. Something to remember here with the Chiefs, okay? Why are they always going to be good right now? Is because Steve Spagnuolo and that defense. That's just a fact. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is going to keep them locked, okay, all season as Patrick Mahomes tries to make the players around him skill position wise better than they really are. Got a write in from Derpy 501, fan of the headband. Derp, thanks, man. I wear a headband every show. Usually I do it in the morning because my hair is kind of a little bit of a mess getting out of bed, but now I just like rocking the headband. And I've actually been thinking maybe I should put some Rome Show headbands up on the site or when we get some gear going here. So we're working on some hoodies. We had an Instagram giveaway. C Court 30 won it about 3 weeks ago. C Court, if you're listening, we haven't forgot about you. We are working on what our hoodie situation is going to be, but maybe add some headbands as well. Thank you for the write-in, Derpy. Anyone else on YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram Live, you can write in to the show. Let's finish this thing because Monday Night Football kicks off in 1 singular minute, and we want to give you our rundown. So we'll put the music back on and we'll go to this. Okay. First and foremost, game number 1, it is the Bills versus the Falcons. Okay. The Bills coming off their first loss of the season. They're favored by 4 points in this contest. Here's what I got as the keys. First and foremost, the Falcons have one of the best passing defenses in the league. Okay. So the Buffalo Bills are going to have to get James Cook and Josh Allen and that running game going. That's going to be a key to them because on the season, the Falcons are only giving up 244 pass yards per game, and that's an average of 135. They're allowing 135 pass yards per game. That's good for first in the league. 244. Good job, Andrew. English total yards per game. So we got to run the rock if we're the Buffalo Bills. However, on the flip side, Bijan Robinson and the run game for the Falcons has been elite. Rush yards per game, 6th in the league at 136.5. And that is a downsuit for this Bills defense. They are not doing a good job against the run defense. 22nd in the league. However, though, the Bills have the best offense per points per game, or at least top 3 in the league, nearly 31 points per game. That's the difference maker. Okay, this Bills team will find a way to get into the end zone, whereas the Falcons, though they have some of these numbers, they're only averaging 19 points per game. So can they score enough? Okay, I think they'll keep it close. I think the -4 is a great number. Can they score enough, though? That's the biggest question. It's going to come down to the run game on both sides. Both run games have to show up. Who can stop who? I'm going to take the Bills, though, at the -4. I just trust them a little bit more than the Falcons. The other game, the Commanders versus the Bears, battle of the 1 and 2 pick last year at the quarterback position. Washington, they got one of the top rushing attacks in the league right now, 156.4 rushing yards per game. They're going to have to take advantage of that because the rush defense and the defense in general of the Bears, not very good. 31st in the league in rush yards per game and 30th in the league in points per game given up. So run the rock if you are the Commanders. Whatever McConkey or whatever that guy's name is with the 3 names, whatever he got rushing over, take it, hammer it. And by the way, the Commanders, 71.4% of the time they score when they're in the red zone. The Bears, 80% of the time they give up points when a team is in the red zone. That does not bode well for this Bears team. The Commanders are favored by 5.5 in this game. I thought it might be more, but I think it isn't because I think there's still some question marks on both sides, for both teams. But it's also Jaden Daniels' second game back off the injury, so we'll see. I'm going to take the Commanders here at the -5.5, and I'm also going to take over 50 in the over-under in this game. Those are my picks for Monday Night Football. I forgot the Minions, they go in on this song. And I forgot that I recorded the entire thing. Those are your picks for Monday Night Football as it's about to get kicked off right now. I got Derpy writing in. He said Bills should clap the Falcons, though their offense won't be able to keep up with the Bills' offense. Commanders or Bears could go either way, but I like the Commanders. I would agree. That's why I took the favorites in both, to be honest with you, Derp. I mean, here's my feeling on it, okay? If you have the type of offense that the Bills have, it just feels like you should be in every contest, okay? Now, I think what's giving me a little pause on the Bills this year is the fact that their defense isn't as strong. And maybe before the Josh Allen, or as we built Josh Allen up, we were really relying on the defense there in Buffalo. And now Josh Allen is elite, best player in the league, possibly at the quarterback position outside of Patrick Mahomes. And you're like, we could score 25 to 30 a game. Now your question is, can you just hold Bijan Robinson and the Falcons offense just a little subdued? Like they score 17 to 21 points, you feel fine because your offense can put up 31, considering also that their offense isn't, their defense run game wise for the Falcons is not as good as their pass game defense. Derpy, thank you for the write-ins, big dog. We appreciate it. The show's so much more fun when people write in. You want to write in like Derpy tomorrow morning when we come back at 7:05 in the morning. Subscribe to youtube.com/the Romanellas or head to twitterx.com. The Rome Show 1. That's the Rome Show, then the number 1, or Instagram.com/the Rome Show 1. So many ways to listen, ladies and gentlemen. Just do your part and subscribe and listen. Andrew Romanella, hope you have a fantastic Monday evening. I know I will. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:05. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. You have an electric rest of your day. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Thank you for listening.